What's your name?
Dana.
Dana, what do you do for a living?
I'm a PhD student in biology.
Amazing. And Dana, what does safety mean to you in the lab or classroom or workplace?
Comfortability, confidence, being able to not tiptoe around every day, just feeling comfortable being myself, knowing my voice is heard, my opinions are heard, and I can just be myself without any worry in my classroom or my lab and so forth.
Awesome. And what does accountability in STEM spaces mean to you?
Just making sure everyone kind of takes their part, believes in their actions, takes accountability for actions, whether that's stepping up if they made a mistake or stepping in front of someone if you notice something else someone's doing, but just making sure you speak up for what you see and that the right actions post are also taken.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. What barriers prevent people from speaking up against gender-based violence in STEM spaces?
Probably the power dynamic, most likely. Usually there is a power dynamic in academia, at least, just because you do have senior professors and then you have junior undergrads or master's students and things like that. But there should be a way to break that power dynamic where you should feel comfortable like talking about an incident of gender-based violence or discrimination in terms of without feeling like your grades or your references are going to suffer, because you know those people might hold credence on your future decisions or your future careers. So there should be some way to break the power dynamic for those conversations, but there does need to be some sort of hierarchy in that situation anyway. So there's kind of, it's a tricky situation to walk that line.
Yeah, very nuanced. What concrete changes would you make in these spaces for it to be more safe?
I think a good change would just be making sure that the channels for reporting or discussing it are made more clear. I think most institutions now do have the proper channels for reporting and having discussion about incidences like this, but they're maybe not so well advertised, and students or new employees don't really know the correct steps to take for it. So just making sure they're clear, and then hopefully there's also someone of each gender or each sex in an authoritative position, so you feel comfortable to talk to anybody to report it or speak with it or about it, rather than just being like one person that maybe is not the same as you or as open as you, so then you just feel uncomfortable reporting it. So concrete change would be making sure that there's somebody comfortable to talk to, and that making sure that avenue is clearly advertised.
Yeah, that's a really good one. And so we've been talking about gender-based violence for a long time, right? What do you think is the next step that's been missing?
Hopefully stopping it, I guess. But again, just making sure that the senior personnel stand up for it and speak on it, and that the correct I don't want to say punishments, but the correct actions are taken post. I know sometimes it's difficult and scary to want to take the correct actions when you're looking at a tenured professor or a CEO of a company or some senior partner or anything like that. And it's important that even those people are held accountable, and I think a lot of those steps are missing right now. But the conversation is opening, which is a good thing.
Yeah. And what are the hardest conversations you think institutions are shying away from?
I think it's creating the correct accountability steps. I think luckily I'm in an institution, or at least surrounded by professors that do promote open conversation and confidence in that space and make sure that everybody's voices are heard in a positive manner. So the gender-based violence or discrimination against gender is not really something I personally see, but I do recognize that a lot of institutions don't promote or openly have those type of discussions. So I think making sure that it's clear that everybody should be comfortable, it's clear that the right steps will be taken if, no matter who it is, if something were to happen. I think those type of discussions need to be probably a bit more public as well, so that people know they're being had, which I know institutions don't always like having those conversations publicly, because they can get scrutinized a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good point. Have you ever witnessed a moment of allyship that truly changed the tone of the workplace or lab?
Yeah, I have recognized, or I have seen some situations where some male colleagues have made certain comments jokingly or whatnot, but you recognize the uncomfortable nature of it with some junior colleagues, some female junior colleagues. And I've seen my college, including myself, step in, and you notice him become uncomfortable, which is a good thing because he's clearly being called out. And we've also recognized the change in the atmosphere in that situation or that environment now, and that maybe he won't make those comments in front of us or whoever stepped up, because he knows he'll get called out again. So it's important to have that allyship, whether it's you experiencing it or not, because then you know that they're thinking about it, and then you're changing the conversation or the environmental tone that you live in or you work in.
Absolutely. What does a future without gender-based violence look like to you?
Ooh, great. Pretty good environment. I guess it just means everybody's voice is heard equally. Nobody feels uncomfortable to apply for a job or be in a situation or a lab or a research space or anything like that. It just means everybody's comfortable, everybody's voice is equally heard, and hopefully that means research on female bodies and things like that comes to an equal state that we're at right now with male bodies and male physiology. So hopefully it just means better progression and more science and more information.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Those are amazing responses. How do people connect with you? How do we stay connected with you?
Thanks. It's Dana Sherrard on Instagram and on LinkedIn if you want to follow research that's going on in our lab.
We'll make sure to put the links. Thank you so much.
Thank you.